And today, let's start off with the movie Rush, all based on Formula One, Niki Lauda and James Hunt. But everybody needs to calm down about this movie.
Walsh running the Irish green, and look at the move, he's making down to the inside.
Moves to the front from 5th all the way to the lead in lap 1.
Walsh takes win number 2.
Peter Walsh. Let's talk about Rush. Now, it's come out, I think it's in 2013, right? It's a great movie in general, but here's the thing. Everyone raves about the movie, how it's the best racing film ever made, right? It captures the soul of Formula One, how it's so real. But, well, pump the brakes there now, Betsy. Hang on a second here now. Because while Rush is, without question, a great movie, it's also incredibly flawed. It's dramatic, yes. Beautifully shot, sure, absolutely. But the racing itself, let's just say, not quite up to speed. And yet, I still believe Rush, I'll even say it, it is one of the best racing films ever made. I'm being serious on this one. Not because of the racing, but because of the human story. And this is where the divide happens here, lads, all right? It's hardcore racing fans want Rush to be the definitive motorsport film. And I get that. I really do. They want realism, accuracy, a true representation of the sport they love. They want Le Mans, right? 1971. Levels of on-track purity, man, where everything feels like an actual race weekend. But the problem, that's not what Rush is all about. On the flip side, casual viewers love Rush for what it is. It's intense, high energy, character driven, drama that just happens to feature Formula One. And I get it. The film does an amazing job of making F1 history feel like larger than life. It really does. But if we're being honest, the racing scenes, well, they kind of suck. I mean, I gotta admit, most of the time, sorry, not most of the time, 99.9% of the time when I watch a movie based on racing, I'm fast forwarding or I'm looking away, lads, and I'm tuned out, I'm zoned out, I'm not here anymore, and I'm waiting for for it to just be over because they don't get it, and it's very, very hard. It's almost to the point of impossible for directors out there, even Spielberg, Scorsese, these guys, it is almost impossible for them to get what it really feels like in a racing car. So let's get into it. Okay, Rush, it tells the story of the 1976 Formula One season and the legendary rivalry between James Hunt and Niki Lauda. And let me tell you, lads, James Hunt, I mean, this guy was like an absolute movie star. This guy was smoking. I mean, yeah, believe it or not, if you've never checked out James Hunt, you gotta YouTube this fella. Watch his interviews. This guy was banging chicks everywhere. He was smoking, drinking. I mean, he was a pure movie star in racing overalls. He really was. Perfect story for Hollywood. Two drivers with completely opposite personalities fighting for a world championship in an era of real danger. I mean, there's a real huge possibility that you're not coming back alive. And I mean, racing was so dangerous back then. And Ron Howard, to his credit, he nailed the human side of it. And he directed this, lads. The way the movie captured Lauda's methodical, calculated approach versus Hunt's wild, reckless charisma. It's pitch perfect. I honestly was blown away by that part. And, Daniel Bruhl is Niki Lauda. His performance is so amazingly accurate that you almost forget you're watching an actor, honestly. And Chris Hemsworth, man, I mean, I thought he was just all good looks and all that, and, he could sort of deliver a performance for you. But, man, he's damn good. He's got the looks, the charm, the swagger of Hunt down to a T. But then we get to the racing, and here's where the problem starts. The CGI heavy racing scenes, they look very gamey, I have to admit, lads. The crashes, I wouldn't say they're over-exaggerated because, as an ex-racing driver, the amount of crashes that I've had, the amount of crashes that every racing driver I've ever known has had, it's just part of the package. And it's amazing the way a wheel can fly off when you hit an Armco barrier and it can end up 5,000 foot away from you. I mean, it's unbelievable where the bits of cars end up. And You know, the dialogue. It's a bit embarrassing. It's a bit embarrassing. You know, quotes. You're just in a rat in a cage. I'll beat him because I can. Right as the great equalizer. I mean, just pouring it on now. You know, I mean, come on. It's the kind of stuff you'd hear in an F1 24 story mode cutscene, not real life, man. And don't even get me started on the way the cars behave. The amount of oversteer in this film is ridiculous. There's no way anybody could pilot a car that has that much oversteer. And by the way, lads, when you actually drive oversteer, that means that when you turn into a corner, it just like, it flicks away from you. The back of the car just like whips out on you. And that's what oversteer is. And cars wouldn't, you'd be dead. You'd be dead. And every single car is sliding around like a drift championship rather than precision racing here. Then there's the radio chatter. Oh, jeez. I mean, sort of the do or die feels straight out of Fast and Furious, man, rather than an F1 broadcast. And let's not forget the Hollywood slow motion stare-offs. There's been a couple of stare-offs in racing, but you're not having on purpose, I'm going to stare him down. Right? This doesn't happen, you know. The music swells. We get a dramatic helmet close-up before someone floors it into a heroic overtake. Does it look cool? I guess so. Yeah, you know. Is it real? Absolutely not. And yet, Rush still works. It works brilliantly because while the racing itself may be Hollywood nonsense, okay, the emotions are very real. The film isn't about details of Formula One. It really is about the soul of it, you know? Like the racing part of it is the passenger here. It really, truly is. And really, that's what a great movie's all about, right? It's about the character development, the pain that they're going through. Can they go through it? The arc of the character. And Ron Howard, he's one of the greats of all time, you know? And that's, despite all my criticisms here, I'll still say Rush is the best motorsport movie probably ever made. I mean, there's one or two others that we will review, but it's on the podium. It's in the top 3. There's no two ways about it. You know, the more I think about it, and not because it shows a great racing, man. It understands what racing means to the people involved. The Niki Lauda comeback, incredible, and that's all true story. The moment he removes his helmet, showing his burned face to the world. It's brutal, man, brutal. And this all happened, lads. You can see this on YouTube, even though I wouldn't recommend you go on YouTube to see it. But, you know, look, if you're very curious to see it, you should. The respect between him and Hunt, despite everything, it was tear-jerking, I have to say. Honestly, it really was, you know. There was a huge respect for them between each other. And, oh, God, here I go again. I get almost tearing up here. That's the moment where even the most diehard racing fans, purists, have to admit, yeah, Rush got something right than other than the racing film. Okay, so let's resolve this. Where does this leave us, lads? So look, what would I say? If you're watching Rush to be the most realistic film ever made, you're going to be disappointed. Now, because it's not. If you watch it for what it is, gripping. Absolutely gripping, emotional, character-driven, that drama that happens to be set in the Formula One World Championship. It's bloody fantastic. And yeah, some of us can cringe at the racing. Yeah, we can roll our eyes at the dramatic one-liners, right? They are. But at the end of the day, Rush did something no other racing movie has managed, lads. It made people care about Formula One. Not just as a sport, but as a story. And that's why it deserves to be celebrated. Just let's not pretend it's perfect. Now, let's talk some more Formula One here, lads. Lewis Hamilton has a crash in Barcelona. Now, some people are like, oh, wow, it's amazing. Like, and they're all losing their minds, okay? Oh, is he bottling it? Literally, there's people saying, is he bottling it? Oh, God, he doesn't have it anymore. Ladies and gents, well, I'll call out the information to you here. I'll just tell you this. I'm not a fan of Lewis Hamilton. And if I was the type of person to bash him on purpose for any reason, this is my moment. But I'm not going to do it because this is part of the package of being a racing driver. The amount of crashes we have had in our lives is nuts. Honestly, it is insane. I mean, I'll put it this way. You get so used to crashes. I've had near-death experiences. I remember there was a truck that actually completely, like a 40-foot truck, completely and utterly cut across onto top of me when I was driving on the road one time. And I had a friend in the car, nearly lost his life. Okay, he went on about it for about 2 or 3 days afterwards, like, I can't believe it. And he told his mother and everything, like, oh, well, it's such a close call. And I brushed it off like it was nothing. By the way, I'm not saying here, oh, Peter, you think you're amazing. No, not at all, just in case anybody's going to have a go off me, all right? No. But what I'm saying is, it's like a boxer, okay? They get how many hits in the face? It's like somebody, UFC, how many takedowns do they get, right? Okay? Rugby players that get tackled. How many punches? How many stitches? How many scars? How much blood? It's part of the package. And believe me, this is no big deal. Okay? What Hamilton is doing here, there's a couple of things that happened here. One, maybe there was a problem mechanically. There could have been. Two, he was pushing too hard and he just had a crash. Okay? Simple as that. So, it's good to see that he's in the Ferrari, he looks good in the red overalls and all that. But let's just see what they're saying here. So, Hamilton had crashed his Ferrari on day 2 of the Italians' team private test at Barcelona. The 7-time world champion escaped unhurt, thank God, with the team now working hard to fix the car in a bid to allow Charles Leclerc to complete his running. This was Hamilton's second proper day of testing at Ferrari. Having run the 2023 spec car on Tuesday without any problems, in addition to the 30 exploratory laps he completed in his first taste of red machinery last week at Fiorano. Now, if you're wondering why he actually competed in the was practicing in the 2023 car, they're not allowed to use the current car. In other words, you're limited with testing with current cars at the moment, lads. Okay, that's part of the rules. Now, to be honest, it's pointless because he's still getting mileage. Okay? And they can still find out this tweak, find out that tweak. Right? You can still do changes and adjustments to the car and use them for your new car. So honestly, I don't agree with this whole having this preseason testing with an older car. Crazy stuff. Anyway, the test has taken place behind closed doors and is part of a program running to help Hamilton adjust to his new car after 12 years rival with Mercedes. Well, like we just said, it's not a new car, it's an old car. Or maybe it's a new car wrapped up in old. You see what I mean? Hard to know. Testing restrictions mean Hamilton, like all drivers, is limited. Okay. And then a team's race drivers can complete a maximum of 1,000 kilometers between them in old spec machinery. And what else is he saying? Fred Vassar, the team boss, admitted it was a rush, but had no concerns about Hamilton getting up to speed. Of course not. Hamilton will be up to speed within 4 seconds. He said, I'm not worried at all. He's coming with experience. He's almost has done 20 seasons. Wow, man. Has it been 20 seasons already? Jesus. That's freaky, man. That is freaky. Oh, Lord. I can't believe it. So, they're saying here, what else? Hamilton is expected to get more mileage in a Ferrari when the Italian team take part in a 2-day Pirelli test at the same venue next week. So, okay, that'll be interesting, lads. So, let me see. Guys, okay, we've got other news here. So, other news before we hit the road today. So, the key preseason dates for F1 2025, lads. All right, this is quite handy. So, on February 14th, Valentine's Day, Williams revealed their car. February the 14th. Williams have confirmed that their new challenger, the FW47, will break cover during a promotional event at Silverstone in front of fans on Valentine's Day. Okay. February the 16th, Haas filming day. Haas 25 car will hit the track for the first time when the team conduct one of their permitted filming days at Silverstone. Haas plan to field Esteban Ocon for that initial run, with signing Ollie Bearman due to get behind the wheel for the second day filming, which will take place in Bahrain later in the month. All right, and then next up, February the 18th, F1 75 season launch. For the first time in sports history, all of the teams and drivers will gather at London's The O2 on February the 18th for a special season launch event, marking the 75th anniversary of the championships. All 10 teams will appear, along with the 20 drivers, to unveil their livalries for the 25 campaign. I can't speak. So it's starting at 8 o'clock GMT, lads. The 2-hour event will be streamed live for fans who are not there in person, and further details will be revealed in due course. Now that sounds pretty fun, you gotta admit. February the 19th, Ferrari event. So Ferrari will reveal their car, and in Maranello, ahead of Lewis Hamilton making his highly anticipated debut for the squad. February the 24th, Mercedes reveal. Mercedes have announced their 25 Challenger will break cover on the February 24th at a London's O2. Then we've got February the 26th, and here we come, lads. We're nearly at it already. February the 26th to the 28th, pre-season testing. The cars will hit the track at Bahrain. Testing will take place across 3 days, February the 26th to the 28th. And with several drivers changes occurs in 2025, only 2 out of the 10 teams have kept an unchanged lineup. Well, okay, and then we have it, lads. March 14th to the 16th, this season begins in Australia. Well, lads, this sounds... I'm really pumped up, man. I'm not even a Hamilton fan, and I'm excited to see Hamilton hit the track in pre-season testing, and so many weird elements thrown in this year, lads. It's going to be great. And, you know, and like I said, lads, pay no attention to Hamilton crashing, okay? Don't listen to all the crap. It's just part of the package. So, guys, we'll be back with more Formula One. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Walsh running the Irish green, and look at the move. He's making down to the inside.
Moves to the front from fifth all the way to the lead in lap 1.
Walsh takes win number 2.
Peter Walsh.